Have you ever spent days, maybe even weeks, crafting that one perfect, polished video? You know, the one with all the slick edits? Only to watch it get a ton of views, but zero actual clients? It is so frustrating. But what if I told you the secret to actually growing your business was to do less, not more?
This right here, this is the single most important question you can ask about your content strategy. See, we get so caught up chasing views, but views don't pay the bills, right? The wild truth is that the content that really converts is often raw, unpolished, and yeah, what most people would probably call boring.
To really get this, we've got to look at the story of Alex Hormozi. Now, this guy had built a massive following. We're talking nearly 8 million people by posting these super high-energy, slick videos. By every metric, he was absolutely crushing it until one single conversation just changed everything.
Imagine this. A friend of his, a successful business owner, literally Hormozi's perfect customer, says this to him point blank. That one little sentence just threw his entire content strategy into a tailspin. And that comment, man, it hit him hard. He suddenly realized that his content, full of special effects, crazy graphics, even literal explosions, was built for entertainment. He was attracting a massive audience that showed up for the circus but had absolutely no intention of ever becoming a customer.
So he did something pretty radical. He ran an experiment. He stripped everything back. I mean everything. He cut out all the entertainment, all the fancy production, and just went back to pure, raw business education. No more crazy cuts, no more explosions, just valuable information delivered plainly.
And at first, the results looked like a complete disaster. I mean, some of his videos saw a 90% drop in views. If you were just looking at the view count, you'd think the experiment was a total failure. But then he looked at the numbers that actually matter.
First off, his book sales doubled. Just like that. Even with a tiny fraction of the views he used to get, he was suddenly selling twice as many books. That was the first big clue he was onto something huge.
Next, his email opt-ins, the lifeblood for so many businesses, they jumped by 26%. He was getting more qualified leads, people who actually wanted to hear from him than ever before.
And this is the real killer metric. His value per viewer shot up by a staggering 68%. This was the proof. A smaller, more engaged audience of the right people is infinitely more valuable than millions of random viewers.
So what in the world is going on here? Why is this seemingly boring content so incredibly effective? Well, it all comes down to the psychology of who you're attracting, and, just as important, how their brain is actually processing what you're saying. Okay, so let's be really clear about what we mean by raw content. This isn't about being lazy, it's about being focused. It's pure education, the kind of stuff the masses might just scroll right past, but it's the exact answer your ideal client has been desperately searching for. It makes them stop in their tracks and actually listen.
So why does this work so well? Well, it boils down to 3 core reasons. It acts as a filter for the right audience, it engages the part of the brain that actually makes decisions, and it instantly positions you as an authority figure. Let's break each of those down.
Think about it like this for a mortgage broker. A flashy video titled, "House Hunting in LA, What $1 Million Gets You," is going to get tons of views from people who are just bored and killing time. But a boring video, called Mortgage Escrow Explained, Do You Need It? Come on, the only person watching that is someone who is actively trying to buy a house. That's your motivated buyer, right there.
This all comes down to some pretty simple neuroscience, actually. Flashy graphics and quick cuts trigger the brain's entertainment mode. It's like a quick dopamine hit, and then the viewer just moves on. But simple, information-rich content, that activates the problem-solving parts of the brain. They aren't just watching, they are actively thinking about how you can help them solve their problem.
Okay, so you get the why. How do you actually put this into practice? Let's talk about 4 simple, low-effort formats that are absolutely crushing it for service businesses right now.
So, your new content toolkit has 4 key pieces: slide decks, whiteboards, screen shares, and video podcasts. And the beautiful thing about all of these is that they prioritize pure, unadulterated education over flashy production value. That means they're fast to create and super effective.
Let's run through them. Slide decks, kind of like the one you're watching now, give you structure. Whiteboards create this really authentic, in-the-moment feel for explaining a process. I mean, Brendan Burchard literally used them to build a $100 million business. Screen shares give that amazing over-the-shoulder view. And finally, video podcasts. It's just you and your expertise. Think of Stan the Annuity Man. He became the #1 agent in America with only 15,000 subscribers, just talking into a camera.
Now hold on. Low effort is not the same as no effort. To make this work, you can't just be lazy about it. There are 5 simple rules you've got to follow to make sure your content builds trust instead of accidentally hurting your credibility.
Okay, here are the 5 rules, quick and dirty. First, prep smart. Second, record like you're live to tape. Small mistakes make you human. Third, look and sound clean. We'll come back to this one. Fourth, make your thumbnail match the video's vibe. And fifth, remember, it's not all or nothing. Use this style strategically.
All right, let's double-click on rule number 3, because this one is absolutely non-negotiable. Seriously, your phone's camera is perfectly fine for video, but bad audio will kill your content instantly. People will click away so fast. Viewers are incredibly unforgiving of bad sound. Please invest in a decent microphone before you even think about upgrading your camera.
Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a fundamental shift in philosophy. It's about getting off the hamster wheel of chasing vanity metrics like views and instead focusing relentlessly on the only thing that actually matters, attracting the right people who will actually pay you. This is it. This is the key lesson from Hormozi's experiment, and it really should be your new mantra. A small, hyper-engaged audience that truly needs what you have to offer will always be more valuable than a massive, disengaged crowd.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. What is that one technical, maybe a little niche, maybe a little boring topic that you are a total expert in, that your perfect client is desperately trying to understand right now? Figure that out and go make that video.